Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on 7 ways with Microsoft Power Platform we can solve problem in the manufacturing industry. So I'm really pleased today to have a couple people, so important people with us. So we first, I would like to do some introductions. So I'm Sebastien. I'm one of the founder of Solution Metrix and president. I also have the pleasure with me to have Scott Gamble. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Sebastien.
Excellent. Who's Director of Marketing and CRM Product Owner at Barrette Outdoor Living. Also have our Microsoft MVP with us, which is Sergio Macias, and he's also a CRM solution architect at here Solution Metrix. Hi, Sergio.
Hi, Seb. Happy to be here and talk about this time about the Power Platform. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. So it's going to be a great session today. A lot of practical example as well. So it's not just only theory of Microsoft, but how we can solve pragmatic problems. So quick introduction about Solution Metrix. So Solution Metrix, what our mission is to enable digital transformation and through change management and technological innovation. So we're, and I'm sorry, it's not COVID, it's a cold, so it's a man's cold, I would say. So we're all about digital transformation. So we're a firm that support our customer into innovation and progression and making and supporting the new demands from all of our customers. We're also experienced with multiple platforms, including Microsoft Dynamics. So we have a center of excellence here in Microsoft Dynamics. So, and we're working a lot in the manufacturing industry. And with time, we developed our own strategy around implementing CRMs and low-code initiatives and no-code initiatives, which is really tailored around user adoption. Most of the time, the technology in 2022 won't be a problem that much. It's really making sure that the company embrace the change that it implies. So when you do have what I call the innovation flywheel going on, so you have your center of excellence and you're making those ideas come true, you really need the digital transformation to go through change management and user adoption as well. So we're a firm that's focused on that, and ROI as well. That's our approach on technology. And really, in three things we're doing well at Solution Metrix. We remove silos, so we want to make sure that we have this one 360-degree profile for all your data and your customer, including a good structure for artificial intelligence and BI. And so we're really removing silos in between the system. We're a firm that's all about automation. So we have initiatives to free up, the human resources that's needed to do clerical tasks, so they can work on more complex problems. And we also have, we're all about innovation. I was saying the center of excellence, the governance it needs when you're innovating and you're empowering the business to do their own initiatives. So that's what Solution Metrix is in 30 seconds. And maybe Scott, you can speak a little about Barrette.
Yeah, thanks, Seb. Hi, everybody. Happy to be here today. This is a great subject for us, so I'm excited to share some time. So who's Barrette Outdoor Living? So Barrette Outdoor Living is a leading manufacturer of outdoor living building products. So our focus areas are mainly fencing, decking, and railing materials. So as you can see, our what we call our Oasis picture there on the right-hand side of the screen, we have demonstrated there a lot of the products that we manufacture. So you see fencing products, you see decorative screen panel products, you see pergolas, you see decking. There's many products that we manufacture for that outdoor living space. And so again, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts. And we've recently become part of the Oldcastle APG family. So, again, that brings many other outdoor living products into the view, including pavers, retention wall materials, mulching, etc. So we really look at owning that backyard space.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott. So, great agenda today. So first, and again, it's not only theory. We're going to speak about how, in pragmatic way we implement those solutions, about the Microsoft Power Platform. But we're going to talk about task automation at first. Second, the manufacturing and what's the AI, the artificial intelligence integration. Number three, how can we leverage the Microsoft Power Platform for brand consistency and quality assurance? Then we're going to talk about employee management. Then safety and security enhancements as well. 6, data-driven decision making. And then we're going to conclude with how to build or and roll out those innovative solutions. So maybe quick thing about the task automation. So first, as you know, there's a shortage of worker all over the world in all the G20 countries. So everyone's talking about automation. Everyone, there's lots of things that they do that are not that much value when you do those tasks. So we're looking for automation. So Power Automate, drive business transformation. What this means is, first, we're in an area where the investment, the ROI is really rapid. So over 3 years, it's only 200%. We try to recover ROI normally within the first 6 to 9 months of those initiatives. Sometimes it can be quick if it's we'll talk about other Power Apps and Power Automate, but that first Automate is, you find really rapidly an ROI. And in terms of number, you save millions by just by time, and not only the time that your current worker will be saving, but as well, we don't have the workers. We like I mentioned, the shortage of worker implies that companies and businesses need to re-engineer the way they work through adding some automation. And this is where you will see today the Microsoft Power Platform, including Power Automate and other tools, are really, really helping. And for sure, when we talk about automation, we also want to talk about reducing the manual errors that can be done. And we'll see how this decline into multiple facets of a business. And maybe Sergio, you can talk about your Microsoft MVP of what are the different templates, so you can give people an idea of what is Power Automate.
Yeah, so thanks, Seb. So when it comes to automate processes or tasks, of course, as you were mentioning, Power Automate is the perfect door to start and open multiple ways of working in automation, because it has by default more than 400 connectors or templates that you don't have to start from scratch. You can search something between all of those templates. Probably one of the common tasks is that you are receiving a lot of emails and you want to store images, documents on your personal OneDrive folder, and you don't need to do it manually one by one, and you can just go and select a template and save all the documents that are attached to your emails automatically when an email gets into your inbox. So that's a pretty simple example of what you can do and achieve with Power Automate. But of course, this is only like basic stuff, but we have very complex connectors. For example, SAP connector. So you can do a lot of things with SAP connector, and there are connectors to other CRMs like Salesforce, Sugar, SQL Server, so you can do queries against a third-party system or a legacy system without writing code. So that's the important thing. I'm not saying is you will never require code, but 80-90% of the time you have connectors that you just configure and start using those connections.
Mhm. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Sergio. And I agree with you. The example of an email will be, if we're in the manufacturing world, sometimes we'll receive lots of POs or orders by email. So those, unfortunately, today there's still some businesses receive those orders, by email, open a PDF, or even within the email, there's the body of the order and manually key it in, right? So part of the thing, there's a trend called RPA, robotic process automation. It's something we do. If you haven't seen what it is, I invite you to schedule a demo with us of what is robotic process automation. But basically what it does is it will take the PDF, let's say, read the PDF, key in it for you in your order system. You talked about SAP, could be other ERPs, and actually the order entry is done automatically. And then this is where the automation can trigger. So check if the credit limit is, if we're past the credit limit, if there's any open things, and we see it for returns as well, RMA. So those are, thank you, Sergio, are really good example of how we can, leverage this technology.
Correct. And another example could be that you need to pay attention only to, for example, to emails that have a complaint or a customer is complaining about something, but you don't have the time to read like the entire chain of emails. So we can process all the emails through an AI connector to analyze the sentiment. And if it is negative, that can send you a push notification on your mobile phone. So you are aware of that email and you can put your efforts and your attention on that specific email in case you're receiving complaints from your customers.
Perfect. And maybe you can talk about the different task automation, and the benefits of those.
Yeah, well, so in this, I always remember a real scenario from an old customer. That customer, as you were mentioned, they assigned 2 reps. They were receiving emails with purchase order. Customers can fill a purchase order by a PDF or a form or manually by hand and take photo of that document and send it to email. So there were 2 reps checking the inbox for that email account, downloading the files and putting everything that's on the form into the system. So that requires 8 hours of 2 different reps. So we offer a way to automate the process. So we design a flow that reads all the emails, downloads the PDF, analyze that document through OCR technology. Even if it is handwritten, we can review and check, what's on the form. And we process the purchase order automatically on the system. We review also the inventory and with other third-party apps. We just not talking about one single system. We are talking about multiple systems connecting with different databases to review inventory and if the product exists or not. And after some validations, we confirm the purchase order with the customer by email, giving them the order ID. So with that, we help that customer and they remove those 2 reps to another role that is more important on the company, so they can start making decisions, analyzing the history of the system, the purchase orders. So instead of just capturing information. So I think that's a pretty good example of what automation can do inside the company. And of course, we remove that repetitive task of getting all the documents and all the information from the document and put it on the system. So that's, I always really want to mention this as an example, because I think it gives you an idea on how automation can help to improve the performance and the benefits inside the company.
Thank you so much. And that's a great example. And what I like as well from what you said is it's configuration. So there's no hard coding that's needed. You have a visual interface when you can actually configure those things. So that's great. And it's a really good segue, Sergio, to actually speak about, what is the AI integration for manufacturing. So it emanates, we're shifting from automation and how we can leverage the artificial intelligence. So maybe Sergio, you can enlighten us on what we could do with AI.
Well, so when I think for me, when I hear AI, it's always like, the system is doing something for us, it's taking decisions for us, but everything that the system can make a decision on is based on history. So it is important that when we decide to implement something that requires AI or some models to process the history, we need to have at least a couple of months of data in our systems. So in order that these, different AI models can predict something on the system, like how many orders we're going to receive next month, how many products of this category we're going to be selling next quarter. So those AI models, instead of building them from scratch with other apps, with coding, we have AI Builder inside the ecosystem of Power Platform. And by selecting the information we think it is important to predict something, the model runs on the backend and gives us results for us using our own data and designing the model, by people that doesn't necessarily need to know how to build AI models. And that's one example. Of course, we have the sentiment analysis. We have predictive things like churn, for example, with customers. So if a customer declined an opportunity, they didn't contact us in the last month. So that's probably something that the model will tell us this customer is at risk, and you have to, put your effort, your attention in this customer, or probably in a deal. It doesn't mean that it's with a customer, but it's probably with an opportunity or a deal. So you have to put your effort here, because it's 90% sure that we can win this opportunity based on the history, based on the parameters you set when you define the model. So this can help you to put our efforts in the correct deals.
Thank you. Really, really good example. And if I go into other scenarios, for example, so I really like AI as well to and when the machine learning is done, and like you said, Sergio, there's tools to not. You don't need to be a data scientist to build your machine learning models, so that there's tools to do that now. So your AI can actually browse, parse, and read some data for you to actually analyze and put priority on what's important. And because we all in our businesses have tons of data. It's not a problem. Is transforming this data to information in a savvy way. So look at different the analysis of the data for you. So as well, and I know, Scott, we're going to discuss about this, is the long-term supply demand. So in the supply chain world those days, it's probably really it's a difficult time. We all have supply chain and demands problems, but and as well the ability to adjust your schedule in time. So from the prediction you have and we're again, if you want to see a pragmatic example of that in action, we can schedule a demo, but we can predict when the goods will be arriving based on not only the information that our different suppliers will send us and our carriers and our freight forwarders will send us, but actually prediction that is in parallel with that. So before we actually place the order to and book the logistics to receive the order. So then there's some tools that will help you plan the production accordingly. So And maybe Scott, a question for you.
Yeah.
What AI is for or could be for Barrette?
Well, that's a great question, Sebastien, and we're dipping our toe in the AI water, if you will, now, just looking at various things, and I think Sergio really hit the nail on the head. When you've got a data-rich environment and you've got lots of data sources, how do you leverage that to provide prioritization and predictive capabilities around things like forecasting, production schedule, supply chain management? For us, all of those things are super critical, right? You've got your raw materials coming in, you've got your production on the backside, and then you've got your order fulfillment as well. So, how do you prioritize all that? And again, if you start getting disruptions in your supply chain, or your forecasting gets thrown off by something, you need the ability to predict those things coming, and you have to be able to react very quickly and make adjustments. And we talked earlier about quality assurance and how quality assurance might come into play. So again, is there a way to leverage artificial intelligence or machine learning to predict warranty claims and do warranty claim analysis? Things, machine learning and analysis around sales data, right? I think Sergio mentioned churn. How can you look at your sales data and predict the health of your various accounts, and who you need to pay more attention to versus who's already in good health and in good shape? So there's many applications that we'll be looking at in the future with regard to AI.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Scott. And absolutely, and those are a great example. The warranty claims are a great example that's been used as well in insurance. So those are a really good practical example that you gave. And maybe we're going to switch topic now to the third one, which is the brand consistency and the quality assurance. So we talked about on the Microsoft platform, there's a thing called Power Apps. So Power Apps is the ability to build an application, including a mobile application, by configuration. So you'd have your tool that you actually drag and drop stuff to build an application. So an example will be quality control across production lines. So I have my app, I go in, if I need to shut down a machine, start a machine, have some maintenance to do in the machine, that would be an example of, and even some sample that we do quality, so I can build that pretty easily. The real-time data viewing and sharing, it saves time to break in department silo, meaning we bring the information from different systems in order to consolidate that into the Power App. And when we talk about brand consistency as well, is the ability by having those apps that leverage the other tools of the Microsoft platform, like Power Flow to bring the information, Power Automate to create some automation. It actually helps on making sure that the quality of the goods and your whole, we all have ISOs or QA process on internal quality insurance gate that we have. It's a really good use case for Microsoft Power Apps. So we build that to simplify the life of first the manager of the plant or the production line, plus the auditing as well, because we all need to keep some paper trail. So if we can, when we automate that piece as well, when the auditor comes every year, every 6 months, it's really less headache in terms of automation. I have a question for you, Scott. So one thing we talk about is employee management. So it's another use case for for Microsoft. So actually, we talk holidays and so maybe you can talk a little about what you're doing, Scott, regarding employee management and leveraging some of the Microsoft technology.
Yeah, so employee management obviously is very key. I mean, Seb, you mentioned it earlier when you were talking about automation of tasks and whatnot. I mean, managing your employees, managing your workforce, managing your various pools of employees is super critical. And so having that centralized capability for employee management is really, really important. And you've got to be able to manage your workforce effectively, whether that's on the factory floor or whether that's your white collar back office workers. It doesn't matter. You still need to be able to manage those various pools of employees in a way that's as effective and as efficient as you possibly can. So that's what this platform provides, is that ability to pull it all together, centralize it, and work within that platform to manage those various teams of employees, whatever they happen to be.
Excellent. And thank you so much, Scott. And maybe Sergio, let's talk a little about how we implement that or leverage the Microsoft platform in order to achieve employee management.
Yeah, so when it comes to HR, there are a lot of different scenarios we can cover with existing apps, with existing solutions, because that's a different. Existing apps is apps that have been built by other providers, other partners, that you can find them on the App Store, and they fulfill a specific need for you. And when I say existing solutions, is solutions that Microsoft have designed and you buy directly from Microsoft. So for example, HR 365 is a solution that helps you to control everything related to your employees, like vacation requests, absence requests. Also, the insurance plan for your employee, the compensation plan, if you have different plans. Also, training and certification is something important. So because you want to promote someone to a different role, but you are not sure if that employee has specific exams or certifications, you can track those on the app, and you can make sure that the person you are trying to move from one role to another has all the training required for that role. So that's important. And also, with those apps, with those existing solutions from Microsoft, you can empower your employees to move from sending emails every single day, not to their managers or to their another departments, and interact in the system. Like, instead of sending emails, you just start a process, you start a request, and things are gonna be moved, by the system in the same environment, in the same consistency as you were mentioned, instead of just sending emails and then you get lost on your inbox searching the correct record to reply. So that's also, these apps can help, and empower your employees to start processes inside the company.
Perfect. Thank you, Sergio. It was very important topics, and it's we talk about employee management. I talked about shortage of worker, so it's a really good segue into the logistics and safety management as well. So we mentioned that we need to be more efficient. So maybe Sergio, you can guide us through what's Microsoft for logistics and safety management.
Well, so for logistic, in this case, we are talking about on the readiness, or if the company is ready to send, those trucks and all the drivers to deliver your products from the facility. Because if we remember, everything changed 2 years or probably 3 years ago with the pandemic, and we were not able to, let's say, to host the entire employee, all the employees on the same facility, because the number of people inside the same room, inside the same facility, it was difficult. Probably that's something is still in progress. It's been difficult to know that all the employees come back to the office and stay in the same room. So with this, there are apps that are free on the platform. This is one of the examples. Microsoft did an app to control the access to the facility with a mobile app and with a back office app. The mobile app, it's for employees, where they can say, okay, today I'm feeling okay, I'm healthy, I don't have any problems with my health, so I can assist to the company. I'm going to request an entrance or a permission to a specific facility, and someone in the back office can approve or deny that request based on the number of people that are already in the room, or if there's a meeting, they can control the number of people around the table. So that's when it comes to safety, you can control all this access from your home. I mean, you don't have to be on the office, and you can access all the data from the app, and also on site. Employees can bring their mobile phone, and with a QR code, they can get access to the facility because they have been approved to be in that room.
Perfect. And let's talk about some how can we build this, and how can we leverage the building of those apps.
Yeah, well, so those apps, I mean, you just download it from the App Store and put it on your environment, and that's one of the benefits of having or working with the platform in the ecosystem of Microsoft. Probably most of the apps are on App Store, and you are one click away from using all those apps. Of course, there's always a space to customize things, to put a specific requirements from the customers, but the platform, of course, offers you different ways to customize your app. But if you think the way it was designed works for you, the only thing you need to do is install it on your environment and start using it.
Great.
So
As easy as that.
Correct. I mean, of course, as I was telling you, there are always challenges, but I mean, we are here to help you to complete your goals and all the challenges. But that's in specific cases when you need something very special.
Perfect. Thank you, Sergio. And it's a good segue as well to data-driven decision making. As you're leveraging this infrastructure of an architecture of all the different of the Power Apps, you for sure gather data. So maybe, Sergio, you can talk about the augmented BI and the analytics and the business intelligence platform a little for us.
Well, so on the augmented reality, I mean, there is a lot of new stuff out there on the platform, even for training. And remember, we were talking about employees and empower your employees. So a different way to train people on different things, on different tasks, it's instead of having like a big machine on every single station for your employees, you can use design a model for that machine and use HoloLens for your employees, and they can start using their hands like they were actually in front of them, of that machine, fixing the machine or changing a piece on that specific engine. And you can train your employees without having that machine in place. So of course that's a benefit because you are saving probably money, because if the employee is a new employee and they make a mistake, probably you need to buy another machine. I mean, I don't know, I'm just talking, But that's an issue that can happen, and you are trying to avoid that by just having, augmented reality using HoloLens with these designs. And also, if you have this unique engineering who has more than 20, 30 years of experience, and you cannot have this engineering in multiple places, so you send technicians to other places, and they make a call to this, very expertise guy, and they can guide them, again, using HoloLens technology by having, a Teams call on the HoloLens and sharing what the technician is, having in front of them. So that's another benefit of augmented reality. And also another thing, and you don't have to use HoloLens. With this, you can use a mobile phone. You can have an app when you can see the products you can buy from your provider and see if that product, if that machine fits on the space you have available. So with your phone, you can resize the product, you can change the color, you can see if something is not fitting in their place. So that's something you can do also with for shelves, for example. If you're talking about BOL, you can see if your product is packaged and it fits in the shelves. So you can use this augmented reality to see if that fits on your place.
Perfect. Thank you, Sergio. And for sure, Microsoft, you talked about the augmented reality on augmented BI platform. That's the same thing as well. On the Forrester and Gartner, they are in the leader quadrant. So their Power BI is another tools that they have part of the Power Platform is definitely something great. That and again, we like it because to build those BI, you need the training, but all to do the drill down, and when you publish dashboard, it's very, very easy for people to actually drill down the data, which makes Microsoft one of the leader in the BI platform. And so we cannot speak about business intelligence without speaking about data-driven decision making. We mentioned it earlier. We all have, our businesses have tons of data. The problem is not the data itself, is transforming that data into a KPI, an indicator, something in my dashboard. So it helps me as a manager or as a senior manager to take the good decision and to see the trend, right? So definitely the fact that Microsoft is a leader in the business intelligence definitely helps, and from what we like about Microsoft is from the end user to the executive VP, so we can really do a top-down vision of the data to a bottom-up vision of the data. So from task management of my day-to-day up to the financial KPI on cash flow and cash cycle and stuff like this. So it's really a tool that allows to be on all fronts of the business, removing silos. We talked about that earlier from the different department and see the impact on each other. So and again, we're mentioning AI here. It's a really important initiative that business needs to start. Some are better than other with AI, but the technology today, I'm repeating myself, but it's really important, allow to have a machine learning strategy without being a data scientist. So you can start, again, we're not, I'm joking by saying we're not in 2022 when you start, AI won't tell you which employee to keep or to let go, but at least it will support you and fill the gaps for some of your data as well. And as you're perfecting your algorithm and your machine learning strategy, the AI become more and more accurate for trends and different data patterns, etc. So, and when we talk about customer data as well, the ability to predict is really, really important. And on the finance side as well, there's tons of things that come out of the box from Microsoft. So and so that's the innovative suite of solutions. So we have the Power BI, which is the analytics. We have the Power Apps, which is the application development. So an example of an application development we've seen could be an employee. So I want to request my holidays, and it could be for quality insurance. So I'm walking in the plant and I need to input some data when I'm starting a machine, or there's tons of Power Apps. One we've done with Barrette is a store visit. So you manufacture a good, you have a distributor, wholesaler, and at the end there's some retail store that actually owns the goods. So you do some visits. So the visits, it's automated through a Power App. So your notes, picture, dictation, stuff like this, the report. We do things like, for example, annual review. So I'm sitting down with my customer, I'm doing an annual review, a quarterly review, and also those are things that are automated. So when we talk about automation, it's the Power Automate. So for example, crunching all the data to do an annual report is done through Power Automate. Some task workflows, notifications that are sent automatically if, for example, there's too much return that month for this type of, so those will be example. We talked about the Power Virtual Agent, so that's another powerful tool, and it's a precious gem in the Microsoft Crown, which is the ability to do chatbots and some omni-channel experience with virtual agents. And we have Power Pages, which is the ability to develop websites or intranet or portal with the Microsoft toolset. So it gives you an example of what the suite is. It's again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not a Microsoft. I own some share because I really like the stock, but this is the response to Microsoft to the fact that there's 1 million developer missing or actually shortage of developer. There's 1 million in the US, there's 100,000 in Canada. So there's a shortage of developers. So that is really well known. So manufacturer like Microsoft and software editor, they need to be creative with some technology where you don't need to hold a bachelor degree in programming in order to leverage those solutions. So this is what Microsoft have done in response to that. You still need a training, you still need some at beginning, to ramp up and get onboarded. It's a different mindset than I'm going to start to code. But actually, when you can leverage those tools. So that's what they've done. And maybe Sergio, maybe we can start about and talk about some innovative solution that you can build and you can leverage from the Microsoft ecosystem.
Yeah, well, so when we say innovative solutions, probably things that can come to our minds is scalability. Sometimes we need to start small, and then as we grow up, we go bigger. But scalability is something that we need to think when buying services or trying to build apps, because it doesn't matter if you have like all the entire suite you just mentioned. If you cannot grow with the company, or as the company grows with users, customers, so at some point you will get stuck on the platform if you don't have this scalability, or you cannot scale your business and also your solutions. So that's also, I think, for me, one of the first things we need to think on. After that, once we said we can scale our apps, it's okay. So all my apps are gonna be living on the same box. That's also an important thing, but because when it comes to design solutions, have different apps, probably when we met a customer, that customer has multiple and different data sources. So that's a challenge to bring all the data together, and that's the first step. But that first step takes a lot of time. So when we said this innovative solutions we're building for you using this platform, all your data lives on the same box. When you start adding multiple features to that app, multiple apps to the same source, you start asking for bots and therefore CMS websites. You don't have to worry about, migrating things, doing integrations. For sure, integration is something that happens all the projects, but if we can reduce the number of integrations and migrations, that's for sure something that will save a lot of money for our customers. So that's also an important thing to think when we are designing innovative solutions, that everything is as much as possible lives on the same box to save time in future. And after that, once we covered scalability or how to scale our systems, and also that everything is in one box, then we start designing or trying to fulfill all the requirements for from customers with different solutions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sergio. And let's speak now a little about the success story of Barrette Outdoor Living. So maybe we can, Scott, speak about a little, your journey. So we started working together in Q1 of March 2021. Then we did at first the dealer and contact management. Then we worked the lead management together. Then we started to do competitor and program management. Then we went into marketing automation, the marketing automation project. By the way, Microsoft has a really good Microsoft automation software. There's a product registration and warranty use case. Then we did the store visit app in the end of 2021, and then we did more integration in 2022. And Scott, let's look at what this looked like on the warranty claim that we spoke earlier.
Yeah. So, I think probably the key, when you look back at our journey, Seb, is, the Power Platform really created a speed to market scenario for us, right? So, you guys talked about it earlier, and that's digital transformation. And, that was absolutely crucial for us, is to, get into the data and leverage and harness the data that we have. So the big question for us was, why CRM? And we needed that single source of customer data, visibility of our customer initiatives, a place, that housed our marketing campaigns, a way to nurture and score our leads, look at our marketing efforts and make them more efficient and more effective, create better employee productivity and accountability, increase customer life cycle management capabilities, and of course reporting and KPIs. So there were so many pieces that we needed from this project, and as you said, we kind of had a two-tiered or a two-path approach. We had the core CRM, which that we began back in March, and then in 2021, and then we layered on top of that the marketing automation platform. So again, that was a big step for us. And as I mentioned earlier, warranties, if you want to go to the next slide, warranties create was a manual process for us, and we talked a lot about automation earlier, but this platform enabled us to capture product registration data and join that with our warranty claim process, and then create an automated accounting and approval process within the system. So, again, we took a very manual system, and through the platform created an automated system that brought together multiple data sources in a way that made our process much more efficient and effective.
Mm-hmm. And I think another process that we tackled together is the retail account goals process.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, one of our divisions is a retail division, very, very large. We work very closely with Lowe's and Home Depot. And so we have very specific goals with regard to that particular channel. And what the system allowed us to do was to define those goals at a macro level and then drive them down into the various sales teams so that we could track those goals on a periodic basis, whether that be monthly, quarterly, or annually. So, again, taking a big macro goal and then driving it down into the organization so that we could track it individually amongst accounts, amongst specific stores, and amongst our different sales reps and sales teams. So, without this system, we had a very complex and cumbersome way of doing that. So this created lots of streamlined processes for us.
Thank you. And another one we've done is the automated training certificate sends, right? That's
yeah. So here, what we did was, again, we've got multiple training scenarios with a couple different areas. One is with the retail stores, where we go in and we train the various personnel at the stores, and we wanted to send them certificates of completion after these training sessions. We also have that for architects and builders, with regard to continuing education, and we needed a way to provide them with certificates of completion for continuing education. So what we did was we built these workflows into the system on both sides, both on the retail side and on the architects and builder side. And it enables us to, again, in a very streamlined and efficient way, go through the training process, capture the information within the system, and then we automated the sending of these certificates once the training sessions were completed.
Great. Good use case as well. When we talk about the approach of doing it through automation, drag and drop, that's an example here for sure. In behind those steps that we see on the screen, there are some configuration that needs to be done, but it's not. And as well, I have some gray hair, so I've been in IT long enough to know that building something, normally it's not, maintaining the application. It's the big burden, right? As we evolve and we talk with, some flows and some connecting with other systems. So the other system in the ecosystems will evolve and get upgraded, and the data model will change. So it also provides the whole suite of, what they call the DevOps as well. So from my testing environment to my dev environment to my test to my prod. So it provides also the Microsoft ecosystems provide. The Microsoft suites provide some tools in order to help on that. And another thing we've done together is the automated real-time communication, which was pretty important.
Yeah. So shifting gears a little bit, and again, this is within the the marketing, the Dynamics 365 for marketing piece. So from a marketing perspective, again, one of our goals for the CRM was to join together the sales, the marketing, and the customer service processes within our back office. So what this enabled us to do is to automate how we communicate to our various customer bases. So we've got 3 channels that we function primarily through, and each of those channels have very unique communication needs. So what this platform enabled us to do was to create automated real-time communications, depending on the type of marketing campaign we're doing, to those various audiences across any of the channels that we needed. So, again, it was very critical for us to have that connection, like any company, to your customers, and have a streamlined process for how you get those communications accomplished.
Excellent. And this enable as well, what we call the automated database nurturing. So the communication, but as well the ability to nurture the different people we have in marketing automation, right?
Yeah, and so what you see here is an example of a customer experience journey. So what the system allows us to do is to define customer journeys and leverage email templates and automated forms to capture information or capture data, and then branch off depending on the type of data that you're capturing and the information that you receive. You can make decisions and adjust your communications according to whatever path those customers are going. So, in this particular case, we've got several emails that are automated and going out depending on the types of data and the type of feedback that we get along the customer journey. So a very, very critical key for us is to be able to build these journeys. Seb, you mentioned earlier about consistency of brand and leveraging email templates that have consistent brand and forms that have consistent branding, and carrying that through all of our marketing processes, no matter which channel is executing the marketing campaign.
Excellent. And Scott, those are great examples because Microsoft, they are visionary in terms of technology, and they foresee the same stats as everyone of us does. So the process control in manufacturing, it's a market that will grow, and it was estimated to be $86 billion in 2020, and will grow to $120-ish million in 2025. So it's growing 6% because Microsoft knows, everyone knows, that the need for those automation are big, and it's key. And we're pleased to work with BOL, with you, Scott, and your team, in order to support those initiatives, because it definitely will make humbly, I hope it's still, I know it does, maybe make some impact, but the foundation as well for what I call earlier the innovation flywheel is there, because once you have those and the technology that we spoke about in place, and like you said, you have your main CRM that's there, and then you start building some apps on top of it. This is where you can go faster and faster in your innovation. You don't have to tackle a big, lengthy, costly IT resources, lots of IT resources project. You can go really nimble and say, okay, we're going to cycle through, doing more and more innovation and building those apps, and it can be, a phase 1 app or a version 1, and then build on that. So this is definitely something that Microsoft saw, and like I said, that's one great response that they did. I know time's flies, so I'm gonna go to the benefits. So we're gonna go, we all read the news, so it looks like in 2023 we'll have some negative growth in terms of economical growth, so we may go through a recession. So recession normally for CRM companies is good, because this is the time when you need to take more and more care of your customers. So those, lots of benefits for company to have a CRM and really leverage your customer data. And like I said, it's a foundation to help you innovate. So we're on the top of the hour. So I would like to thank you, Scott, for your time today.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, and all the information and the experience that you could provide us. Thank you so much, Sergio. Thank you for your time. Thank you everyone who assisted and attended this webinar. A recording will be sent as well as some collateral. And if you want to engage and have a deeper discussion, we'll be pleased to have that with you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.